my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Oh, Dave, it's a Patreon pick. It's our new and latest Patreon, Chris, so thank you for picking this one, mate. And again, Dave, it's another John Candy movie. So we are going back to 1985. This movie was directed by Carl Reiner. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know who that is, Dave. But if music was going for it, Alan Silvestri, which most people know. So this one is called Summer Rental, Dave. It is very much in the John Candy wheelhouse of movies, something we've probably all seen or similar movies. So had you even seen or heard of this one?
So I don't think I've ever seen this, and I don't know why. I guess this is John Candy's first big film, isn't it, where he's the leading man. But I remember as a kid John Candy just popping up in different things. I think things like Brewster's Millions, you know, he was there as kind of this side character, and I remember thinking he was quite funny. Splash, we did a few years ago now, didn't we? I remember thinking he was really funny in that. So he was always, like, to me, he was always an actor that popped up in stuff but wasn't the main actor as such. But I always found his stuff really funny. So it probably wasn't until things like Uncle Buck that I really saw him as the central character. And yeah, if I'd have known about this in 1985, I would have definitely watched it. But I just don't think it just isn't one that I knew about. So it was interesting. You mentioned about Alan Silvestri there. I mean, what a legend as well. He pops up in the credits at the start. I'm like, oh, this might be a bit of a gem, this. And I know we watched the trailer last week and we're like, where's the funny? It just didn't really seem to be very funny at all. And so I was fearing the worst coming into this one. But then, yeah, it was actually Alan Silvestri's name popping up. And I thought, oh, this could be quite good. But then I watched it. And so, but anyway, Chris, how about yourself?
No, Dave, never even heard it. And obviously, we did Brewster's Millions. This was out, I think this, when I was doing like the research, and there was 3 movies that he brought out, John Candy, or he starred in, and this was the biggest one of the 3. Obviously, in Brewster's Millions, he was sort of a sidekick, wasn't he, really? But no, never heard of it. And we did Armed and Dangerous, which I think was like 1986, which I picked, which I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's not just a case of, planes, trains and automobiles, things like that, the great outdoors, or which we haven't done. Yeah, well, Speed Zone I did as well, Dave. Another classic. Home Alone, when he stood next to Elvis at the airplane. But he still won't have that. But no, I never even heard of it. And what's weird is when you look at what it made at the box office, it made like 25 million. I think it was only behind Back to the Future at one point in the box office. So it was a massive movie, but for us, obviously, being in the UK, I don't know if I've ever... I think I've probably never seen it. It may have been on UK TV, but because it seemed like quite a big movie for him, and it sort of stuck the flag in the sand as if, a bit of a thingy there because of what the movie's about. What he did for him as an actor, it probably helped him get like Planes, Trains and Automobiles after this. But no, never heard of it, never had any idea or inkling about this movie at all. So Chris has put this one really, but I'd love to know if Chris will be listening, if you can message us how he come across this movie, because I don't think I've ever even seen the VHS cover in the video shops.
No, and that's the reason I think. I mean, it must have been on some kind of limited release or something, because most of the time when we come back, or not most of the time, but a lot of the time we'll come back and we haven't necessarily seen the film, but you recognize the video cover, but definitely not with this one. So yeah, I was definitely interested to get our teeth in it. But Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
This summer,
Jack Chester is taking his family on a well-earned vacation.
Which I don't know what to do now. You've told me right off that how did the movie goes, which is movie code for everything is about to go catastrophically wrong.
5 weeks of sun, sand, and relaxation.
And approximately 6 minutes of actual relaxation.
Meet Jack.
Overworked, all right, man.
Air traffic controller, devoted husband, loving father.
A man one minor inconvenience away from a complete nervous breakdown.
But paradise isn't quite what he expected.
Turns out booking a holiday and enjoying a holiday are in two entirely different activities.
Wrong houses, terrible accommodation, family disasters.
Basically, Airbnb 20 years before Airbnb existed.
And standing in his way, local sailing champion, Al Pellet.
The sort of smug rich bloke that 80s comedies were built around humiliating.
Jack will be pushed to his limits.
Mostly by holidaymakers, seagulls, and his own terrible decision-making.
One family, one summer, one chance to save this vacation. Burnt-out traffic controller Jack Chester takes his family to Florida for what should be a relaxing summer holiday. Instead, they find themselves trapped in a never-ending parade of disasters, bad luck, terrible accommodation, and an increasingly personal feud with a smug local sailing champion. As the vacation descends into chaos, Jack becomes obsessed with turning things around and giving his family the summer they deserve. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, this is just National Lampoon's Rip-Off 101, especially the start of the movie, because it's a... What gets me, obviously, it's a comedy, so we know we're not getting a massive backstory. It's all going to be madcap. It stars John Candy, absolute 80s, DNA, this movie. But I do think you're right, what you said before the trailer is, how have I not seen this? Because it is just John Candy doing what he does best, I think. However, the story's written, Dave, on the back of a stamp, because the fact that he's been an air traffic controller, he's looking at the planes coming in and a fucking fly distracts him, and then they go, you're going on 5 weeks paid leave. Fuck me, Dave. If a fly...
Happy fucking days.
I mean, nowadays it'd be called a mental health break, wouldn't it? But that's basically what they've said to him. But the story is so fucking thin, and the fact the guy just goes, you've been doing this for years. Yeah, just have a break. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I know where this is going. But he's literally, and I don't know, Chevy Chase is a fucking arsehole, and you watch even the stuff now, there's that Chevy Chase thing I want to watch. I know as a person, he's a horrible person, but as a character, Clark Griswold is a great character, and he plays him really well. This is almost just a Timu version of Clark Griswold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jack Chester. I mean, I think visually, John Candy leans into the fact, and I saw that the writer, Matt Reisman, this whole story is based on him or Jeremy Stevens, one of the two writers. He's based on the holidays he used to have years ago. And that's what he was, a big bloke. It was all the same thing. But Dave, this movie is not funny at all. It's John Candy doing everything he can, other than fucking Colonel Sam Troutman, who's obviously on a undercover who's called Al Pellet, which is ridiculous. The arrogant fucking... Every time he comes on screen, I'm just like, wait for him to go, I'm not protecting Rambo from you, I'm protecting you from Rambo. I'm just like, this just does not fucking work. This guy, Richard Crenna, he's not believable, but it is like, we laugh about, but obviously the trailer that you just put together, he's right. They're humiliating the fucking rich, arrogant wanker, basically, aren't they? But I think if I'd watched this in the 80s, I'd have got it, and it'd be like, yeah, it's John Candy, it's not a bad film. And I get the appeal, and probably more to the Americans, because Summer Vacation for a lot of Americans probably was this, going to, because they have a look at them beaches that they're on especially, and it fills me with fear. I get PTSD from when he used to go to Benidorm as a kid. And we'd go for months on end, and you're trying to play football, and people would be kicking off because you're kicking sand on them. We'd be like dead cocky, going, fuck off, you know. But now when I look back and think, yeah, we were little shits, you know, we probably did need a whack. But I don't know, it just feels off to me. And I think John Candy, fortunately, he spearheads the movie, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I thought it had really sick with me well because of John Candy. I like John Candy a lot in a lot of his films. It just, I don't know, it just felt off for me, this one. I can't work it out.
I think it's not a bad way to start it off, is to say that, you know, it just feels off. It feels like it should have the ingredients to be great. And I don't know, it's definitely the Timu National Lampoons, you know, it is Clark Griswold, basically, you know, so downtrodden person in work, you know, and then takes his family on a vacation and he wants it to be great and stuff. And I'm with you. If I'd have watched this at the time, I think I'd have a love for it and a nostalgia for it. But because I don't have that, I think you see the movie more for just what it is. And it's just not that funny. But I feel like there's a good movie in there trying to get out. Because, I mean, for me, it's a new John Candy movie, you know, that I hadn't seen before. And so there's a minimum amount of enjoyment I'm going to get from it, just John Candy being John Candy. And there's some moments which are kind of semi-funny. So, you know, jumping ahead a bit to where they stay in the wrong house. And you can see, can't you, because we do have the nostalgia for things like National Lampoons, you do know the type of things that are going. So they come to this rented accommodation, and I had no idea they sort of did this in, you know, this Airbnb before Airbnb was a thing. They turn up and the house is so great. You're thinking, well, what's going to go wrong? You know, are they in the right place? And sure enough, they're in, you know, Beach Lane instead of Beach Road or something like that. And you get this family turning up. And, you know, you get John Candy there with all his sunburn. Oh, Chris, that made me wince, you know, when they got him all red and sunburnt because he'd fallen asleep in the sun. And that just reminded me as well, particularly the first time I went away without my parents and then just being a stupid idiot kid, you know, it was with the school. I was like, yeah, I don't need this sun lotion thing. God, I got so burned. But, yeah, so it's when he said, oh, I forgot something. You know, the family turn up whose house it is, and then they're actually so accommodating and nice about it. You know, they should be, get the fuck out of here. But, so they're packing up and everything, and he says he forgets something. He goes upstairs and he comes down with his daughter as well. You know, he's like, obviously forgot the daughter. And she's like, Daddy, I wet the bed. Oh, no, I wet my bed. No, honey, you wet their bed. And they just sat there. Again, it's just the way he delivers it. I did find that bit quite funny, to be honest. But mostly, it feels like it should be funnier than it is, I would say.
One scene where I have got a story on this, and I think I've told this story, but I'm going to tell it again anyway, is the scene with that neighbour when she's lifts the bar up and she's like, what do you think? And obviously John Candy's character's like, yeah, Jack, and he's like, yeah, amazing. What do you think? Do you have Adam done? And I think
I just got these. Who had them before?
What do you think? And there was a story many years ago, Dave, where I'm playing years ago on my Xbox. I told this, so I apologise, but I get basically, I've got my headphones on, tap on the shoulder. What do you think? What? And one of Sam's friends had a boobs done, and the other one hadn't. It was basically a measuring competition. What do you think? And I'm just like, they weren't out or anything before anyone gets thinking, but I was just like, is this a fucking trap? I just kept thinking of fucking Star Wars. It's a trap. It's a trap. Like, well, what do you think? The real ones, they're looking better than these. And I'm just like, they were like, you know, top. I'm just like, all levered. I'm like, I don't even know what to answer this one day because I thought if I answer this, I'm getting chin. So I just went, I'm not getting involved in this. You know, and I had an opinion, Dave, but I kept it to myself all these years because I thought this is the strangest situation, and also something where I'm probably going to be in the fucking sofa. It was such a weird interaction. I was just like, yeah, I don't know how to answer this. I don't even know. There's no right answer one way or the other, Dave. But the most important thing is I want to sleep in my bed tonight. So I just didn't give an answer. So it does always seems like that always give me a flashback of like, yeah, what could have been, Dave? I mean, if it had gone that far, why don't we measure it? Then I would have been sleeping on the sofa. The weight, everything. I'll get me cup, get me tape measure out, and me fucking, you know, me set square and everything. But I just didn't want to go down that route, Dave. Even I was like, no, not a chance.
No, I mean, a mate of mine who I used to work with, his wife had them done, and I wasn't at this, but you know, a few of the other people in the group were saying apparently she's very proud of them. So you know, she wasn't getting them out as such, but she was getting people to feel them. Again, it's like it's one of those where you're thinking, like you say, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Yeah. There's literally nothing. I think what you did there, where you just basically said, I'm not getting involved, is probably the only way that you could back out of this. You know, Homer Simpson it back into the hedge and just don't acknowledge this even happened and just, yeah, I have no opinion whatsoever. Because, yeah, I just don't think, like, what good can come out of that?
Nothing, Dave. There's nothing. I mean, you know, I'm not even going down the route what I was going to say, Dave. But you're right. It's best to play Switzerland in that situation, Dave. 100%, because there was just nothing good could have come out of that conversation. But I think when it reminded me a little bit of Roadhouse as well. You know, when fucking Swayze's brother's feeling that fucking woman's fucking knockers, Dave, and he's like, "That's $20," and he starts laughing. He goes, "What are you laughing at?" He goes, "I've got no money," and then it just says a big brawl. It's that sort of scenario. And but the husband comes down and he's like, "Oh, put him away." He's showing, and it's a bit of a theme through the movie, then, isn't it? Every time she's on her own with a bloke, he's you know, she obviously gets him out. We don't see anything, sort of thing. No, I was upset about that, but I do think, like, even the stuff with like the daughter and that, you know, the daughter and the mum and all the lifeguards, and John Candy's there, and he's got his top on and all this, and he's like ashamed of being on the beach. It just looks like chaos. But also, I will say the beach stuff is very lifelike. I remember about 10 years ago we went to Salou, and we went mainly to go to the theme park because Sam's dad had booked it all for us, and sadly he passed away. So he loved theme parks. So the whole family went, all Sam's brothers and sisters, and all the kids, everything. So it was a big crew of us there, and we were mainly on the Port Ventura on the theme park. But was one day they're like, let's go to the beach. I'm not lying. We get to the beach, and obviously, as I say, been in Benidorm for all them years. I very rarely go on beaches now because we usually just be crammed in like sardines all fucking day, with a fucking French stick and some fucking ready salty crisps as a butty, Dave, all day. That's all we used to eat. And a can shared between 5 of us at the time. There's 9 of us now, but 5 of us at that point. You know, I'm not even lying. That's what it was. And nothing better than having a French stick full of sand and putting fucking...
French stick? Do you mean a fish stick?
No, a French stick. You know the French stick bread?
Oh, right, like a baguette.
Yeah, we always got French stick. You know, call it French stick, Dave.
I don't know. I mean, I just thought it was a baguette, but what I thought you meant is the old fish sticks.
No.
Did you get those? Like these, like little oblong things?
No.
And I just remember fucking Dad used to always get them, and I used to eat them, and they were, I guess, fishy tasting, but I just remember at the time, and this must have been, I don't know, it's probably a teenager or something, and they changed them to ocean sticks because they said there's not enough fish in them to qualify as fish sticks. Even though it's not like fish sticks.
No, French stick, Dave, French stick. But I was going to say, if you go back to the story about the boobs that got on Dave, I may have had fish sticks, just didn't know how that was going to go, so I just stayed fucking quiet. No, but we did. We used to be on the beach with him. Honestly, we used to be like French stick, but it I don't even know where I'm going with this now. But I remember that was it. So I was in Salou, And we're all there, and all the family come. There's about fucking 12 of us at the time. A few had not come. We were like, right, we're going to go on the beach. And I'm not lying, it was dead, the beach. We get us on there. It was probably about, it's quite a big beach, the Salou Beach. It's only the only ever time I've ever been on it. Dave, I'm not lying. Within about an hour and a half, it was Benidorm. We were literally crammed. And all I did then was I couldn't handle it. And I'm not one for like getting claustrophobic and that, but I was just like, this reminds me of being a kid. I just stayed in the fucking sea. I just stayed in the sea swimming because I was just like, I can't handle that. And I come back eventually, and we only lasted about an hour, all of us, and everyone was like, are we going? I went, yeah. Because everyone was like trying to make sand castles. You were throwing sand on, but they were throwing it on you as people walked past. I was like, it was closed and we'd steeped in, and then they opened the barriers and everyone just fucking piled in. It was the worst thing I've ever been to. So I do think the stuff John Candy does, especially some of the visual humour, is so apt, even now, to a beach. People there sunbathing and kids running past and fucking it, and we sand or just that never changes no matter what. We always do. We've got Tenerife. We're going again in a few weeks. Surprise, surprise, date for another Judith Chalmers holiday. And but we will literally go down to this lovely dead quiet beach, and I'll be there. If we're there for 2 hours, that's too long. We literally set up, and I'm like, yeah. And even Sam gets bored. I'm just like, no, I've had enough. And it just does me head in. I don't know why. Get in the sea, walk around a bit, sit there, get sand everywhere, and go, right, are we going? Yeah, let's go. So I think this does a really good job of it.
See, I like to think of myself as I go with the flow a lot of the time, but actually with some things I just make my mind up, and I get quite stubborn about. I've never liked the beach massively. I think I like, the idea of the beach. It looks great on a postcard or anything. But at the end of the day, my overriding feeling of it is, you get all your sun lotion on and whatever, and then you just go and fucking get covered in sand. Yes. Like, everything's uncomfortable. And like you say, going to Benidorm, I remember Salou and, a place like that, Tenerife. And the thing is, you can't walk a yard without getting like fag ends and, fucking bits of rubbish all over the place. So it's not like, some idyllic beach or something. So it's just full of shit. And then you're just covered in sand. And then, of course, especially when you're a kid, you're stupid and don't even think. So you don't even wipe your feet off properly before you put your trainers on. And then for the next 6 months, you've got fucking sand in your trainers. It seems to be this never-ending supply. So, generally, if I'm going to default to anything, I love the pool. Just the cleanliness of it. Just, you sunbathe for a bit, hop into a nice pool, ideally with a pool bar there. That's my idea of actually relaxing. But the beach, I just don't like it at all. And so what I did like, especially, John Candy's got that awkward, the pain of it came across to me because he's obviously got sunburn, all over the place, and he's got his daughter on his shoulders there. So, it's not, she's only small, but, still an awkward bit, that you're not used to carrying around that weight. He's awkwardly carrying the water cooler, which is broken at the bottom. So he's pouring water over everyone, and everyone's getting pissed off with him, walking by and knocking sand on him and stuff. So I thought, like you say, that physical comedy side, that was another bit of the movie I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's John Candy's doing a lot of lifting, isn't he? Because, like, Richard Crenna as Al Pellet, it's just not convincing. And what I find weird about this whole movie is all of a sudden, obviously, John Candy and they're at the restaurant and there's different things going on. And he's like, Al's just an arsehole, isn't he? And he's dead spiteful towards him and everything. And he even buys the rental like him. But it's the whole point of the movie. All of a sudden goes from a comedy as such. And it is a comedy. But then it's like an episode of the A-Team. We're fucking doing a sailing race. Why? Who gives a fuck about the sailing? Like, it just maybe just completely changes for me. It just does like a massive left turn, when I'm like, well, what? I don't get it. I get what the challenge is and stuff, but I'm thinking, just stick to what you've been doing. Yeah, all right. It's 40 years later, I'm watching it. In hindsight, yeah, great. And because it's so old now, I suppose, it's sort of like the jokes don't hit, but I genuinely feel that they would have hit. I really do. I feel like I probably would have enjoyed it. It's just, it's come a lot late, but then to just go down this sailing route, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, why are you fucking doing this? Why have you just decided to do this? Like, obviously, Jack's got this knee injury, hasn't he? So he's got this fucking leg in plaster and all that sort of stuff. So he's got he's in like a brace and all this, but it's just, there's loads going on that don't make any sense. Like, he gets proper sunburn at the start and it's not really lent into. It shows his arms up where he's been asleep but they don't really lean into a lot of the jokes that were now. But however, this movie was also edited out loads on it because apparently his wife was the classic being chased by somebody. One of the other rentals, some guy really fancied and was chasing it, is like trying to get after, but apparently the test audiences didn't like it. So I feel that sometimes with this, there's loads missing that doesn't make any sense, and I think that's why, because they said they had to cut it down from a from a 13 to a PG for audiences and stuff. So there's loads of little things with that. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but I just feel that there's loads that could have been better about it. But I also understand that the vehicle for John Candy, this set him up really for what came for the next 5 or 6 years, really, when he was just box office winning everything.
Yeah, and I do think maybe the reason it does, or one of the reasons it doesn't hit, and it could be, they edited it and produced the best thing that they could produce, but it does feel choppy, and it feels like there's loads of storylines and threads that just go nowhere. So, his eldest daughter there, played by Kerry Green, I recognise from the Goonies, quite had a crush on her from the Goonies days. So I was like, where do I remember her from? And so, that's where it is. But when they rock up to this place, and I think from the trailer, I expected the second accommodation, the actual accommodation, to be worse, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. And all the lifeguards and everything are there, and then you can see that they all come out, and she's a young girl, isn't she, in a bikini there. He's not really happy about that, and so she's talking to one of the lifeguards for a bit, and you're thinking, oh, where's this kind of romance going to go? Well, the answer is nowhere. You don't really see them again. So I found that weird as well. It just seemed to have all of these ideas and never really committed to one. And like you say, I mean, you say about Al Pellet not being convincing. I thought he was convincing. I remember I was across in New Jersey for a little bit, and I stayed in one of the times I stayed in a place called Red Bank, which has got all these kind of Al Pellet type people, all these people who are in the bar, all still wearing all that distinctive kind of sailor outfit. And I just remember thinking, a bit fucking weird, that, isn't it? It's like, it's almost this uniform that they seem to abide by, and all, very clearly privileged and well off. So I guess it kind of reminds me of that. And he's just an utter douchebag, isn't he? And it is funny to think, this is where Troutman spends his summer holidays, down in Florida. And yeah, I just think it doesn't go anywhere, and there's too many ideas, and ultimately the stakes are not that high. He's either going to get a couple of weeks rent free, or he's going to pay for the accommodation, and then he gets to keep the money, but they'll leave as well. So I just don't feel like it was a massive deal. And as you say, it gets all 18, where it's like, oh, there's, people don't like this guy anyway locally. And so we'll just take this boat that the pirate, Rip Torn, there's actually, an actual pirate there. We'll convert that, and then we'll win the race. And it is just like, why did you tag that on the end? It did seem to take a left turn.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think you're right. I think looking at some of the reviews, they said that, like, they were saying it feels like it's almost like a sketch show, really, because it's, like you said, there's loads of threads there that are just unanswered, that they don't seem to really get to the meat of or anything. Even this thing with interaction with his wife, that would have been interesting. One of the neighbours, very Turbo Man, Jingle All the Way job, Turbo Man, that's this whole thing, Jingle All the Way thing, the thing. But also, that doesn't go anywhere. I mean, at least he didn't do with Jack what they do with Clark Griswold, where he just wants to cheat on Ellen all the time.
Yeah.
Christy Brinkley and that, but he's still a good guy. That's still.
Did you not feel like his wife did look a little bit like Beverly D'Angelo?
Yeah, 100%, Dave.
Yeah,
100%. And again, Dave, another one of my 80s crushes.
Bit of a stirring, was it?
Yeah, stirring. But I did think that. I'm glad you said that. No, she did. I think she did. She did remind me of her a little bit. And also, she did play the character of like being downtrodden, like, oh, fucking hell, here we go, But I think with Jack, there's not a lot of character development, maybe because there was so much. I mean, the film couldn't have been much longer than, say, another half an hour because it's a comedy, but there didn't seem to be too much going on, does it? And Jack, I mean, it is right though, Dave. I must admit, as a, and you're the same. You've got 3 kids. I only had Jordan, but going on holiday and as the dad, like I was the one. Sam loves to sunbathe. I'm the one who's in the fucking pool all day. Pissing about, running around, doing everything. I still do all that stuff now when they're adults because I get bored around the pool. But also, I just always wanted to do this. I'd be the one, Sam would be reading a book or whatever, and I'd be just fucking pissing about with Jordan in the pool and that, football and you're on like the sun lounges or whatever you're doing. And I feel that it does a good impression of the dad, and the mum just wants to just chill out, doesn't she? And just because she's the one who's running the house, she just wants a break from the kids, whereas the dad's at work. It's a cliche. But me and Sam both work full time, so it wasn't like that. It's just I do relate to that part of his character a lot. But some of the things that go on, and I know it's a comedy, you just sort of like, you'd never go on holiday again. Fucking Jack will just be like, take me back to work until I retire. I'm never going on holiday. But like I say, the sailing thing just took me right out for me. It just took me, I didn't get it. And then we get this whole A-team montage from taking the barnacles off the fucking boat and painting it and everything. And I'm like, why? What is going on here? This is just, it's like it's a different movie.
Yeah. And yeah, again, I feel like it's got the nucleus. It could have been better, but I don't know if it was written and kind of shot quite quickly, so I don't know if that didn't help it. I think if they'd have tightened up the writing, because you get the kids and it's a bit of a family bonding thing, isn't it? Because you get all the hijinks, all the things that are going wrong, and again, it's almost like a Saturday night sketch, isn't it? Because when he's going around to the neighbor, and she's showing off her assets there, and he comes back and everyone's just helped themselves to the house because it's obviously right next to the beach, and so they're just treating it like a public space. You've got a guy making a long distance phone call there, and Jack just goes mental, and he just starts slamming everything and with his crutch there. So you have all of that stuff, just the dad being downtrodden and all of these things going wrong for him. And then it's really when, he gets this bit between his teeth and, he's trying to, he's got, it's not much of a holiday really, but he's got a purpose. He really wants to beat this Al Pellet guy and, gets everyone to rally round him. And so the kids are involved and everything, but the kids don't, by the time they painted everything in the actual race, the kids don't do anything. There's no like coming together as, they're doing different jobs and stuff. Maybe by the end, he could have chucked the kids off to lighten the load or something to make them go faster. And then, I don't know if the idea was terrible or maybe, there was something that was edited out with his trousers. So he makes gets a bit of extra wind from it having his trousers on the sail. But when you see the shot, your brain kind of makes this instant judgment that it's like, that's not believable at all. The sail is fucking massive and his trousers are tiny. So that's not picking up any extra wind at all. But if Al Pellet had made some, snide remark about the size of his trousers or something, then maybe that would have, come back around again. And I don't know, maybe it is in there and I just missed it, but I didn't hear anything there. So the fact that that was the way they won the race at the end as well just felt like cheating, really. Even though they're always going to win, right? But I thought the way they did it wasn't great.
No, I agree. And again, is it on the editing table? I mean, let's be honest, Dave, you said about a wind in pants, Dave. We've all been there, but I don't think it could fucking power a boat. You know what I mean? I just think, I feel that John Candy worked his fucking ass off in this movie, and I've got a lot of respect for him. But I just feel like it's basically it's a John Hughes movie, but not a John Hughes movie. It's everything it's trying to be as a John Hughes movie, but it's just not got that special ingredients that John Hughes usually brings to his movies, because John Candy made for these sort of movies. So yeah, just a little bit off. But listen, Dave, at the end of the day, we almost got a boob testing competition. That pure 80s. It doesn't matter. Young Chris was like, oh yeah, this would have been my dream when I was a kid. 100%. Or an adult. Well, not now, Dave. Not now, obviously. But yeah, yeah. Let's move on, Dave. Move on.
Well, on that note, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So big thank you, Chris, for picking this one. As I said, I never would have even heard of this. It's definitely never on UK TV. So a bit of a different one for us to review, which I do appreciate. And I'm sure people will be going, Chris, you idiot. It was out for years. It was on TV every Christmas, but I don't remember this one at all. So I think it's not terrible. I think John Candy does a lot of lifting, and John Candy is the best thing about this. Sam Troutman, undercover while he's searching for John Rambo, who probably at this time was fighting against the Russians, Dave, in Afghanistan. How that is a weirdest sentence ever in Rambo 3. But anyway, I would say I'm going to put this in Elm Street. I think it's not terrible, but it's almost like comedy by numbers. And I think reading that review where it said it just felt like it was a load of different scenes put together in a sketch show to sort of try and make a story. It feels like a lot of the good stuff, or the glue that would have made it a bit more of a better story, was left on the editing floor. So, yeah, not amazing, Dave, but not terrible. So, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm too far away. I do feel like it's quite disjointed, and I do also think the fact that we're watching it now for the first time all these years later probably doesn't help it. It's like 40 years gone, and it's like, yeah, I think I'd have probably loved this when I watched it as a kid. You're not looking for all the other things of like a joined up story or anything like that. And the fact that you got Troutman there, I mean, to me, he's always going to be, Rambo's buddy there. So, yeah, I just feel like, though, because it is John Candy, because it is this light-hearted comedy, because I can, relate to the awkwardness of the beach and stuff like that, and getting the sunburn, because it's even if it was all red and like an even tan, it's not that, you've got all the same white bits underneath. And so, yeah, there are certain things I do enjoy out of this as well, but I do think it is an Elm Street. I think, would I watch this again? Maybe. Actually, I think this is perfect Sunday afternoon fodder. Let's imagine streaming didn't exist and you didn't have to go and search for something. But if it was on the TV and you had nothing to do, I wouldn't switch the channel. I'd leave it on and I'd watch it. And maybe if I watched it again, I'd get more enjoyment out of it, sort of the second and third times maybe. But yeah, I think that's just that Sunday afternoon. You don't really have to think too hard. You just go from sketch to sketch and just kind of enjoy John Candy being John Candy.
Perfect sum up, I think, Dave, to be honest. I think it's a John Candy aficionado more than anything.
Yeah.
If you're into it, this would be like part of the box that you've got to watch, I think. Learning about him as an actor and stuff, as a character actor. Anyway, Dave, what have we got for next week, my friend?
Well, Chris, to go from some, light-hearted comedy and kind of hijinks to a very different movie. So Timothy has sent us this one in, and he's gone very much for the pain and pleasure aspect. I don't know where the pleasure is. But this film, Chris, I had never seen before, but I do know it because it is incredibly infamous. And yes, it's a French-spoken film, which you'll enjoy. So I don't imagine we'll get dubbing anywhere, so it'll be subtitles and everything. But yeah, I like I say, I do know this is one of those, if you see on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or something, top 5 most shocking movies or something like this. So this one, Chris, is called Irreversible, or probably pronounced Irreversible. So don't even really want to do it, but let's do it. Let's get into the trailer.
Oh, Monica Bellucci, yeah, stunning. This trailer's not doing a lot of talking, Dave, is it? There's a lot of walking around.
Yeah.
And dancing. We could do the whole, in a world, this man's snorting cocaine. There's people dancing. Set in France. A lot of walking, Dave.
Yeah.
What a trailer, Dave.
Bit of French cinema. I mean, I just don't know how this is going to go. There aren't many laughs in that one, Chris.
No, I don't.
Maybe could have done with a bit of John Candy showing up and lightening the mood somewhat.
Yeah, we'll soon see, Dave. Oh my God. Oh my God. But anyway, thank you for today, mate. I do appreciate it. Thanks, Timothy, for next week. I'm saying that in advance, mate, because if it's awful, I'll be telling you. As always, if you want to email us, the VHSStrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media at VHSStrikesback. And as always, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHSStrikesback. So the roll call of honor, and a big thank you to Chris Graham, Matty V, Reese, Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike Lee, Helen Dillon, Dan, Justin, Susan, Tim, Matt, Kent, Lucky Lily Green, Dan, Math, Jax, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. I don't know what's happened to me flow here, Dave. It's just gone completely with the Patreons. But anyway, thank you to every single one of you. We do appreciate it. I don't know what to expect next weck, Dave. I know Monica Bellucci is absolutely stunning. So, yeah, she was the first 50-year-old Bond woman in the Daniel Craig saga, Dave. So,
really?
Stunning, absolutely stunning. So, Dave, what magical bit of mastery have you got for us? That makes no sense what I've just said. We'll carry on.
Well, one of the things I noticed, like I say, right at the top of the movie, you got Alan Silvestri, so of course done so many things like Back to the Future, Forrest Gump and stuff. Amazing. And I did like the soundtrack, actually. I hadn't mentioned it, but I did notice there's a lot of steel drums, and I tend to associate that more with the Caribbean. And so I guess I associate it less with Florida, but, it could be a thing that Florida do as well. But I wanted to have that kind of upbeat steel drum feel and just, go with that. So here we go. It's called Summer Rental.
I was staring at the radar with a fly upon the screen. Nearly crossed 2 little blips in a way that felt obscene. They said, Jack, take a holiday, go and clear your head. So I packed up all the family for the coast instead. Seaside charm. Then our pellets stole our crashing through. Summer rental, I'm just trying to be gentle, but I'm sunburned, broken mental. This vacation's accidental. Summer rental, I booked something residential. Now my crisis is parental, and my breakdown's continental. We moved into the wrong house, then a shack upon the sand, with strangers in the kitchen and my patience in their hands. I tried to take Bob sailing, but Al clipped me on the tide. Now my knee and my vacation have both been cast aside. Then he tore up my rent check, said, Jack, your time is done. So I challenged him to racing like a man allergic to fun. I'm holding it together, though the pressure's getting high. With Scully on the barnacle and murder in my eye. Summer rental, I'm just trying to be gentle, but I'm sunburned, broken mental. This vacation's accidental. Summer rental, I booked something residential. Now my crisis is parental, and my breakdown's continental. Patch the boat and raise the sail, throw the junk into the foam. Catch the breeze and hold on tight, I'm not going home. Al can keep his perfect tan, his incisor and his pride. I've got trousers full of wind and my family by my side. Summer rental, I'm just trying to be gentle, but I'm sunburned, broken mental. This vacation's accidental. Summer rental, I booked something residential. Now my crisis is parental, and my breakdown's continental. Summer rental, somehow it became essential. Family chaos, mental. One disaster, monumental. Summer rental, summer rental. I came for rest, but I won the sea. Oh, summer rental.
Thanks for that again, mate. Another classic, and I think the song absolutely apt for what this was about. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, even though I know it's going to be absolutely horrendous. Just yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's a controversial movie, and you give me a heads up, saying well what it's going to be and stuff. So yeah, I'm interested, Dave. It's interesting to see what we think of it, because especially me, I struggle with subtitles at the best of times. So yeah, I need to concentrate and not be on my phone.
Yeah. Yep. You may be looking forward to next week. I'm not sure how much I am, but let's see. Let's see. So, Chris, thank you very much. And that's another one for our I don't know, Benidorm Anthems 1985 list there. Bit of cheese. But anyway, Chris, thank you very much for today, sir. Thanks, Chris, also for the pick, of course. And thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. that? All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I see you in 6 months.
I must break you.